Can we see this?
Look at this, apparel. Be like
Lisa.
I guess you can wear that after the week we're having. Signals are going off.
It is absolutely going off this market. It's so exciting. So,
Isn't it?
Let's go.
So in between the notifications, the pumps and everything else, let's just get straight into it, shall we?
Let's dive straight into Bitcoin and Ethereum. Today, we're going to do both live on X and YouTube. I don't normally, but there's been lots of talk about Capo again. He's probably liquidated by now. There's a couple of really big whales in Korea that are just about to get liquidated. So they're in our liquidation level, and we've got like $1 billion in liquidations going to happen. So that could take us to my target. Let's have a look. So everyone that watches this, everyone that sees me on TradingView, everyone in the group knows this chart. So during COVID, I broke down Bitcoin and I had so much time on my hands. I just counted every single wave. So it's been easy since then, fairly easy. This has been a bit choppy, bit sort of all over the place, but this move up has been very much expected. So whether we got over the hurdles or not, and then we could see that there were short squeezes happening. So it's looking really good. So we've got this climb here. We're in this zone where this is our halving point, sort of. We're not very far away from halving. It's sort of in April, May. It'll sort of, waver a day or so. If use case goes up, it may get quicker. It may come in March. So but that's our sort of halving time. We've got the climb. We normally do get a pullback at some stage. Whether it's like a huge one that we have seen previously, I don't think so. I think this is a little bit different. I think this is our major third wave of the super cycle. So if this is our major third wave coming in here, this is going to be really explosive. So this is the wave that, third waves are always the largest, the strongest, the most powerful, make the most money. They're the waves that we want to be trading. So it's looking more and more likely we're going into that part of the cycle. So let's not get too excited yet, because if we get too greedy, that's when the whales come in and they go, no, we're going to take that away. So I want to remind everyone, have a stop loss, keep moving that stop loss up into profit and taking some profits. Book those profits as we go, because that will stop that FOMO feeling. So I spoke to a few people in the group and I've got a Medium post. If you go to my x.com, you'll see how to break down trades so you can be in more than one trade at one time. Start with one trade, then sell 50%, let that trade run a little bit more, go into your next trade, do your TA, or come into getting started in crypto and do that. And you can then have several trades as your balance keeps growing. You'll have more and more trades open that you need to keep moving stop losses. You need to keep moving, taking profits off the table and setting that. So OCO orders are the best way to do that when you're new to trading, because that sets the stop loss and the sell order at the same time. You can walk away or get the Lisa bot to do it for you, because that moves it all up as it goes and you can have unlimited trades on that. So let's jump into the next chart, which we have, which is this pitchfork. You can see my star region. So wave ones on the Bitcoin cycle go to about the 618 on the chart, which is the median line on this pitchfork. So if I showed you the pitchfork last week as well, and I'm going to pull that up again, so we can put the pitchfork onto this region, we can see that this wave one for this cycle last time went to the median line. So that's where we're going right now, in my opinion. If we do that along the whole way of Bitcoin, we'll see that that's a pattern. So a lot of the time, so I work with Elliott Wave. Elliott Wave works with pattern memories. And, a lot of the traders that have been trading Bitcoin for a long, long time develop a pattern memory. They're like, okay, I'm going to sell here, I'm going to take profit here, I'm going to buy here. And that's what develops into a pattern memory over time. So that's what we're seeing again in Bitcoin. So the only thing that would change that for me, if we just went straight through that 50K and I'm like, okay, new pattern, that's okay. I'm okay with that. So, but my stop loss is going to be moving as we go. So I'm going to be locking in that profit. So either way, if it goes down here, it goes up here, we're going to be okay. So let's have a quick look. USDT. So we can tell that the market is going up because USDT is going down. So that means more people have gone into crypto. They work like a seesaw. So, you know, one goes up, one goes down. Bitcoin goes up. USDT usually goes down, the dominance. So when the dominance goes up, we know that people are selling out of crypto and they're sitting in stables. So that's another chart to keep in your bag of charts, so to speak, and make sure you keep an eye on it, because you can chart this as well like you can any chart, and make sure that, you know, we're in the right sort of direction for your trades. Yeah, so quickly, let's jump into Ethereum. It's had a really brilliant run today, and it's hit. So we want to have a look. We've hit the top of the channel. So we need to start sort of thinking about moving those stop losses up into profits, and you know, booking those profits, taking them off the table, so to speak, because we are getting quite high here. So potentially there's a pattern that if we don't break out in this region, we could go down to 1300. While the market's not that at the moment, stuff can happen. So that's why we do have a stop loss always in place, especially if you're leverage trading, because if the market goes against you, it doesn't move like it used to move. Sort of, you know, 5-10 years ago, where we used to have these market flash crashes and it was insane. We don't get those anymore. With regulations coming in, it's a little bit more stable, so to speak. So while we do get, you know, drawdowns of sort of 20 to 30%, that's normal in any market. We don't get major sort of, you know, 70% flash crashes like we did get. So they were the good old days, because you could place an order really low and just like it would just go back up. So that was nice. So yeah, so let's check out Ethereum. So if we go up to the weekly chart, I just want to show you a pattern that I had on. So this is what Capo is saying is a bearish flag. And I beg to differ on that, because we're on support. We're on a long-term support here. And that's quite normal for, you know, coins like Ethereum to trade a long-term support. They also develop a pattern memory. They also develop, when we're going into parabolic moves, we get a what is known as a parabola, which is the curve. It's not a parabola, it's a parabola, which is a curve that goes up. So it's a mathematical equation that measures the arc, basically, of that curve. So a lot of people hear me call that alt curl. It's the same thing. So it just means that supply in this particular coin is increasing, and demand in this particular coin is increasing and the supply is lessening. So we know with Ethereum, we've had a lot of Ethereum burnt lately. And, you know, that supply is getting less and less. So it's a good sign. But if this is a leading diagonal, so a leading diagonal is a very specific pattern which can only be at the beginning or the end. So if it's at the end of a pattern, it's normally a falling wedge right at the end, and then we get that breakout trade. So at the beginning of a pattern, it's the first wave in the larger wave pattern. So this potentially could be the first wave in that larger wave pattern, like we're seeing in BTC, unless we get a breakout here. Then the wave pattern could be changed, where we've had a more bullish sort of correction for Ethereum. And this last wave here was a truncated wave, which basically means this was our wave 1, which has 5 waves. So that would mean that this wave here is the first wave of wave 3, and it's certainly moving quite swift at the moment. Whoa, as my alerts go off. So I would expect a pullback within this region sort of, fairly soon. So if we are to put some fib levels on, even if this is a leading diagonal, that leading diagonal still takes Ethereum to $10,000 in this next run, and could go beyond depending on how bullish we get. So we do know when we get quite bullish in bull runs, it can be, quite a huge move. So if this is a wave 3, we're likely looking up around, we could go as high as 6,600 on this run. So, this will be dependent on this next move, whether we break out here or whether we do continue. The thing to watch with Ethereum is the RSI on the daily. So if you followed me for a long time, I always talk about RSIs on Ethereum and how they work. So when we get into these top ranges on the daily, it normally means that Ethereum's getting quite toppy. The thing to watch is where the stock RSI is sitting and what that's doing at the point. So you can see that when this has hit the bottom, that is essentially the point where we've taken off on this wave up here. So if I just zoom in, I'm going to show you all something. This is a cheat trick for trading Ethereum. So you can see when the stock RSI has bottomed, so has Ethereum. When it has got quite toppy, we can see that we've gone sort of down. This section here, we have to look to this RSI where we can see that this is continuing. So we've got a continuation pattern on the standard RSI. So that would mean we've still got bullish divergence here. So we have to be quite aware as to whether we're selling in this region. But majorly when we dip below the sort of 9-10 mark on the stock, we're normally going up. And when we're sort of sitting at about 100, sort of 110, we're normally sort of pulling back at some point. So we're not quite there yet. So I'd say we've got a little bit of consolidation to happen. We haven't hit the resistance on this channel as yet. So that's still sitting, that resistance is still sitting at about 2,300 to about 2,400. We might get a wick through. So that's a huge area of interest on Ethereum. So should this be wave 1 of the new pattern, it can correct right down to almost 100%. So if it's a leading diagonal, more than likely it's probably going to pull back to around about these MAs, which is about 1,800. So if it's the full correction for that wave 1, 1,300 would be about the target. So and that's normally a leading diagonal will pull back to where it began. So that's not as low as 800, but this is a bullish chart. So, depending on what happens, I do see this potentially, we need to look at the pullbacks on Ethereum in this range here to know what pattern we are trading. So, while everyone's super bullish, super excited about that, we are at a critical point on a lot of these charts where we have strong resistances. We do have a lot of shorts there. So like Bitcoin, that could be a motivation for a short squeeze to happen. So that is something to watch, but there are a lot more shorts releasing on Bitcoin than there have been on Ethereum. So yeah, just something to watch.
Nice. That's pretty epic. Very exciting. Jay has a question. Where do you get the liquidation data from? You're talking about Capo being liquidated in some whales in Korea.
Yeah, so CoinGlass have it. CryptoQuant have liquidation data. CryptoQuant's good as well because they also have the miners selling data. So that's some really good information that you want to have. Because when miners sell at various different times, obviously, because they need to cover costs. They're not always selling all of their Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's really low and they're not making up those costs, normally they'll hold on to it. So you won't have that sort of liquidation level from miners. But when Bitcoin is getting to highs and they do need to cover costs, that's normally when we'll see drawbacks from miners. So, but exchange liquidation costs you can get on CryptoQuant or CoinGlass.
Okay, cool. So let's see, we've got another question from Lizette. That's probably one for inside the group. I'm going to talk about our HODL portfolio in there. But yeah, anything else in the meantime from you, Lisa, for the world?
No, just let's have a look. So with all of these signals and everything and all the trades that you're doing out in the market, just please ensure that you're not in those liquidation lists, that if you are using leverage, always know what the rate of leverage is and how much money you need to put back into that to make that trade good if it does go against you, and always have a stop loss. Because sometimes you can DCA your way out of a leverage trade if you're not over leveraged. But a lot of the time, new traders, and that's what exchanges love, because you're just paying their fees. It's like there's fees every time you get liquidated. So you don't want to be in that. And make sure you're looking at open interest. So open interest is available on CryptoQuant as well. That will let you know the amount of long traders versus the amount of short traders. And another one is also heat maps. So heat maps will let you know where all the orders are getting placed. So there are lots of different things to look at. It's sometimes overwhelming for a new person, but you don't need to look at all of this stuff every day. Just when there's important sort of places in the market that, you go, okay, I need extra data here. I need to know sort of what USDT is doing. I need to know, where those shorts are going to get liquidated or longs are going to get liquidated, that sort of thing. So, there's a good chance if open interest is really high on longs that we will get a liquidation on longs just to correct that and bring that down. And then the market bounces again.
Okay, cool. Now, just looking in the chat inside GSIC, we had someone just say that they are 1 week into using the TTM bot and it's already paid for the next 9 months of subscriptions. How crazy is that?
That is epic.
That is. Did we price those high enough? I'm not sure if we did.
We have priced it way enough.
Yeah. Okay. Well, talking of which, it's probably a good place for a little reminder for everyone that prices will be going up on our subscriptions on January the 1st. So
they will be. So we've been running for 3 years, and in that 3-year period, we've not put our prices up. Obviously, we don't use a Discord, we don't use any of that, but our server prices have gone up, and a lot of our stuff has gone up. So we're just covering that cost. But yeah, so all of our members that do lock in their prices at the moment, they get to keep the price that they've always been on. So there's no stress with that. And for anyone that wants to join us, if you lock in now, you get to keep those lower prices as well.
Yeah, so essentially, if you have a subscription with us before January the 1st, that's what you'll be paying forevermore, unless you unsubscribe, which hopefully you won't. Yeah, so just that reminder there. Otherwise, there's a few questions to get into with the group and a few charts to look at. So shall we do that?
We shall. So yeah, thank you everyone. But yeah, keep stop losses moving into profit. And I'm always on Twitter and around. So let me know if you've got any questions or anything. I'm more than happy to help.
Cool. Okay, let's say goodbye to X. There we go. And then YouTube. Let's say